All right, sorry about that, guys. There's a 5 minute limit on each of these screencasts, so I am going to split this rereading step into two different videos. So, anyway, next paragraph. I will be honest, when someone asked me that, my first thought was, why didn't I think of that? It's genius. The Reverend Marlon Mendieta of St. Patrick Catholic Church in Fayetteville, North Carolina, wrote in an email. But then my conscience kicked in, and I just felt that I wouldn't be okay with that. All right, this paragraph all by itself is just a quote from the Reverend Marlon Mendieta. Um, this is what really strikes me about what he said right here. So I'm going to highlight this. My conscience kicked in. I felt like I wouldn't be okay with eating the plant based Impossible Burger. All right. Lent is a period of 40 days that begins on Ash Wednesday and ends on Easter Sunday. This year, Ash Wednesday was on February 26. During this period, many Catholics prepare for Easter by doing good deeds and sacrificing things they enjoy. The Catholic Church also instructs members to not eat meat on Ash Wednesday and on Fridays during Lent. The practice of not eating meat dates back to the early church. Back then, meat was considered a luxury, so sacrificing it was meant to be an act of self discipline. All right, so let me stop here and think about what I just learned. So, what this paragraph points out is pay attention here, these last couple of sentences. The front part, or the first half, oh my gosh, the first half of this paragraph is sort of front loaded with information about what Lent is, when it begins, right here, the sentence, when it begins, what people do during Lent. Also, the Catholic Church has rules about eating meat. That's what that sentence is. And then lastly, the last two sentences tell us the history of not eating meat and why sacrificing it, or that sacrificing it is meant to be an act of self discipline. So, what seems really important in this paragraph is not so much the background information about what Lent is, because I, as a reader, grew up in the Catholic Church. I already know this information. So, what sticks out to me are these last two sentences. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is going to be the last paragraph that I do the rereading step on before I demonstrate the annotating step. Let's read it. It might seem silly to ask if plant-based burgers count as meat. However, the question gives insight into how religious people think about their dietary traditions as food technology advances. Plant-based meat sales increased roughly 10% in the year leading up to April 2019. These numbers come from the Good Food Institute, which advocates for plant-based alternatives to animal products. All right. So let's see. What did I learn from this paragraph? It might seem silly to ask if plant-based burgers count as meat. However, the question gives insight into how religious people think about their dietary traditions as food technology advances. This sentence right here gives me a little bit of trouble because there are words that I don't know. So I'm going to highlight all the words I don't know first. Insight. Dietary traditions. It has the word diet in it, so I sort of have an idea of what dietary might mean. But just in case, I want to highlight that, just to be clear. And food technology advances. All right, there we go. Plant-based meat sales increased roughly 10% in the year leading up to April 2019. And then lastly, where the source of the meat sale numbers came from. Okay, so what I think this paragraph is really about is the question of how religious people think about their dietary traditions. So if there are two different things that are happening here, right, how am I going to highlight when I also have words I don't know? So the easiest thing to do here would be just to underline the whole thing. That is going to tell me, hey, pay attention to the sentence. Also pay attention to these two words that I don't know. Another option you may have is to highlight two different colors. Oh, there's my time.